So you managed to scratch up another down copy of my mad menu from the haunt of fear. Well, I've cooked up a rather revolting recipe, I'm sure you'll retch it. So come in, this old witch stirring up her curdy cauldron, ready to dish out another tasty tale of terror. Here goes with the slime surfing I call nobody. Yeah. The throbbing sound filled the laboratory, hammering away like amplified beats in a pulsating mind. The old man stood with his arms folded, a look of defiance on his age-bent face. He leered down at the younger man. Eric, what do you mean you're through? That's what I said, Alan. I'm finished. I won't have any more to do with this evil. Eric Wandrum, the aged but still famous surgeon, stared at the younger-looking Alan Thorpe's wide-eyed face. Yes, Alan, I'm quitting. And you can't do a thing about it. You're helpless, Alan. Trapped as I was that night 33 years ago. Remember, Alan, on that night, I was 29 then. I was young and foolish, and you capitalized on it. You wanted outside her door until I came out. Good night, Eric, darling. Will I see you tomorrow night? If I can get away, Louise, good night. I looked up and down the hall because I didn't want to be seen. I never knew you were watching. Kiss me, Eric, just once more. Hush, Louise, somebody may see us. Yes, Alan, I didn't want to be seen. You knew that, didn't you? You knew you'd be able to blackmail me. Hello, Dr. Monroe. No, I'm sorry, you made a mistake. I'm not. Come on, Doctor, I know you anyway. It's no use pretending we can go. Where can we go? I want to talk to you. I don't know you. What would we have to talk about? Why, we could talk about your wife, Doc. We could talk about what she would do if she found out about Louise in a minute. What do you want? Money? Is this blackmail? And then, Alan, I noticed you limped as you walked. Remember, Alan? Remember your club foot? I know all about you, Doc. I followed your famous career perfectly. Graduated med school at 22, married a rich socialite debutante, and now a famous surgeon. How much do you want? Name your price. What's the matter, Doc? Scared that a scandal might ruin your reputation? You like those high fees your Park Avenue patients fork over, eh? If your wife found out about Louise, you'd be kicked out of the Blue Hose crowd. I have $300. Sure, here. I don't want your flimsy stuff. I'm not after the money. I want a healthy body. I don't understand. You mean you want me to cure your affliction? That's what I mean, Doc. I want to walk like a normal people. Look like normal people. I'll have to examine you. I don't know whether I can do anything for your foot. You can't. It's incurable. But there is a way for me to be able to walk. A revolutionary way. Something that's never been done with a human being before. I don't know what you're talking about. And then you told me, Alan. You told me you're mad. No. Oh, Lord, no. I won't have anything to do with it. Okay, Doc, suit yourself. Either that or your wife found out about Louise. You planned to sicken me, Alan, but I was trapped, so I agreed. I had to. Now you're acting smart, Doc. You get the equipment set up and I'll be at your office in an hour. Where will you get it? That's my business, Doc. At your office, in an hour. As you wish. Yes, Alan, I was trapped. Trapped and frightened. I went to my office laboratory and nervously prepared the equipment. Let's see. Rubber hose, clamps, oxygen. Ring. I went to the door and opened it. You stood there, the youth in your arms. He's unconscious. I chloroformed him. Help me get him inside. Yes, of course. And then I did it. I performed that horrible operation. It was almost dawn when you climbed down from the table. How do you feel? Slight headache. That's about all. You look down at your now healthy body and you laugh. I told you it was worth Mongan. I told you. Heaven forgive me. And then you went away. I prayed I'd never see you again. Oh, the nightmares I had trying to forget the horrible thing I'd done. No! Ah! Eric, are you alright? You were having a bad dream. I'm alright, Brenda. It's nothing. Go to sleep. Good night, Eric. It was more than 10 years later when you come back. I'd almost forgotten. Almost. You! Hello, Doc. Yes, it's me, Alan Thorpe. I want you to examine me. I think there's something wrong. It was cancer, wasn't it, Alan? You had cancer. Horrible malignant type. operation again. Aren't you forgetting something, Doc? That kid we killed? You tell? I was helpless, Alan. Helplessly trapped. There was blood on her hand. A young man's blood. The one you brought to my laboratory over 10 years before. And now you're asking me to do it again.
That's smart, Doc. After all, you have your reputation to protect. I'll be back tonight. Be ready.
Yes, I'll be ready. And so for the second time, I prepared the equipment necessary for that horrible operation. And that night, for the second time, you brought a victim to my lab. Examine him first this time. I don't want what happened last time to happen again. Make sure he's healthy. Yes, Alan. And once again, I did it. I killed that poor man, and you got up from the operating table healthy and cancer-free. Don't come back. Don't ever come back. Go on, Doc. Thanks. And once again, I had this horrible nightmare. Eric, wake up. Huh? What's wrong, Brennan? Oh, I must have been dreaming. You still weren't satisfied, were you? 12 years later, you were back. You discovered something wonderful about those apparitions. Eternal youth? I don't understand. I said what I said, Doc. Eternal youth. Just look at my face. When I first came to you, I was 31. Now, 22 years later, you look 35 at the moment. Exactly. It's those operations you do. An operation like that performed every 10 years will keep you looking like this indefinitely. You're mad. Am I mad, Dr. Mondrum? Look at you. Look at how you've aged. You're 51 and you look at me. I'm 53. I won't have anything to do with it. Get someone else. Okay, Doc. Make it your own way. Police will be very interested in finding out about those two unidentified corpses. Alright. Come on tonight. I'll be ready. That was 10 years ago, Alan. That night 10 years ago, I performed the season with 4 for the third and the last time. It's nearly 10 years, Doc. I hope I'm dead by then. But I didn't die, Alan. And so this afternoon, you came for the 4th time. Alan, I'm here, Eric, as I promised I'd be. You hadn't aged very much in those 10 years, Alan. You still look as though you were in your 30s. Not bad for a man of 63, Eric? Alan, let's leave well enough alone, please. No, Eric, tonight we perform an operation again. Alright, Alan. And so tonight you brought me our 4th victim.
Help me get him on the table, Eric.
Yes, Alan. The throbbing sound filled the laboratory. Eric stood with his arms folded, staring down at Alan. And now, it's all over, Alan. You're helpless. You can't stop me from doing what must be done. Eric, go on with it. Don't leave me like this. Go on with the operation. No, Alan, I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to give you his body. Eric, think of your wife, your reputation. Brenda died last year, Alan. I'm an old man. Life doesn't mean anything anymore. I'm going to the police and confess everything. Eric, no, don't leave me. Eric took a needle from the instrument tray and stared down at Alan. But before I go, there's something I must do. No, Eric, no! Don't puncture the blood hose! The head on the table stared at more as Eric jabbed the needle into one of the throbbing hoses that ran into its neck. Goodbye, Alan. His eyes bulged in their sockets as it watched the tiny fountain of red gushing in regular spurts from the punctured pipe. Eric, I'll die! And the secret of exchanging living bodies will die with you, Alan. Eric rolled the table with the unconscious 4th victim lying upon it past the bleeding head. Eric, have pity. This time the police won't find an unidentified decapitated corpse supposedly, Alan. Eric, come back. Goodbye, Alan. The pump throbbed on, the head on the laboratory table connected to the various hoses and tubes. Eric, come back. And then the precious red fluid stopped gushing from the puncture tube. The head's eyes blazed. Alan Thornton, whose body had died 33 years before, had finally joined him. He doesn't have top of all, kiddies. So Eric had been switching Alan's head from body to body. Well, that's one way. As for Eric's fate, well, he's in the movie actor. Haven't sell the party. Wouldn't believe a story like this. And Alan wasn't much help in corroborating Eric's story. A regular deadhead, that boy. Dig you later. Here's sweet day. Welcome to the Vault of War, Creed. This is your host and house, the Vault Keeper, Spooky speaking. Come in, sit down. Care to join in a red hot poker game? I have a few extra red hot pokers. No? Oh, then I might as well go rather than a warrior. I call this fine temper blood-curdling affair a creep in the deep. The moonlight shimmered over the nervous black water on the lake. The man adjusted the rubber diving mask over his face and started down the silver sand beach. Spear and lamp hung limply in his hands. Black rubber flippers on his feet slapped against the wet lake shore. Philip had brought Margaret, his young bride, to his lakeside retreat almost a year before. She stood on the porch of the cabin and announced, "Oh, Phil, it's beautiful, simply beautiful. I told you you'd like living here, Margaret. Come on, I'll show you my studio, where I paint." The water lapped against the man's ankles. It flicked on the lamp. Its yellow seam reached out into the night. It had been a night just like this that Philip had suggested spearing some fish. Spear fish, Phil? At night? How? Simple, Marge. I have a watertight lamp. The fish are paralyzed by its light. They freeze just long enough for me to... The man moved forward, his black rubber flippers sliding across the lake bottom. The water was up to his knees now. It was cold like that night. Philip had gotten into his suit, taking Marge out into the rowboat, where he'd reached that special spot. He'd slipped on the rubber flippers. What are they for, Phil dear? Speed. Kick these things and you really shoot through the water. Then he'd don the rubber mask with the circular glass window. And that? What's that for? Keeps the water away from my eyes so I can see clearly. Then he lit his watertight lamp, taking his three-pronged spear, and, well, here goes. You look like a man from Mars. Yes, the water had been cold that night. The bubbles from the dive had cleared away and Philip kicked downward into the blackness. There goes one, a beauty. The man moved forward into the lake. The water lapped against his thighs. Midnight flashed on the surface. The fish had flashed through the lamp beam. Philip had kicked after it, but it swerved sharply and shot off into the blackness. So Philip had come to the surface for breath. You missed him, darn it. Philip, you're so far from the boat. That strange sound. Philip had heard it then, but he hadn't thought about it. I'm okay, honey. See you. Philip, He'd gone back down. That time he'd found one. A nice-sized lake trout. He chased it and speared it just as his breath had given out. When he popped to the surface, Margie was screaming. Okay, Margie, here I am. And then the screaming had stopped, and he heard Margie kicking around in the boat. Look, Margie, isn't he a beauty? Silence. Just as the water lapped against the board. Bill shot the lamp in the boat's direction. It was out of range. There had been a splash. Margie! Speak to me! That noise again, that queer noise, like someone beating an old dusty carpet. Phil started towards the boat, calling out her name. No answer. Then when his light could reach it, he'd see. Good Lord! Margie! The man muttered to himself as the water sucked and gurgled around his waist. Couldn't swim a stroke. Philip had dived again and again looking for Margie. Finally, after half an hour, he crawled onto the overturned rowboat, breathless and sobbing. Margie! As he watched from his porch the next day as the boats moved back and forth, dragging for her body. But they never found the body. For 3 days, they dragged, with no luck. So Philip had cursed the cabin and the lake and gone away. I'm sure sorry to see you go, Phil. We're all missing you around here. I'll try and get a good price for the place. Just give me what I paid for it, Ed. That's all I want. 3 months later, Phil came back. What do you mean you've been having trouble getting in the place? I gotta have the money. Sorry, Phil, no one's buying. These days, first your wife's disappearance and now the mysterious death. Deaths? What deaths? Oh, that's right, you've been away. You couldn't have known. Yep, deaths. 3 all in 2 months' time. Found their bodies floating on the lake. Drowned? Nope, no water in the lungs. Their blood had been drained. Water slid upward over the man's chest. He moved forward slowly, deliberately. Blood? Drained? Yep, folks say there's leeches in the lake. Nobody wants to buy now. Leeches? Yep, so that's why I can't sell your place, Bill. Not now, anyway. I suggest you start living there again until all this blows over. I'll have to, Ed. I haven't earned a dime since Margaret drowned. I can't seem to paint anymore. Oh, you'll start again, Phil. Maybe being back at the old studio will help. So Philip had come back to the lake, and then about a week later, the fourth book was found. Well, not a drop. Blood completely drained. He went swimming last night. I told him not to go. The leeches. Within a matter of months, the lakeside homes had all been boarded up and abandoned. Ed had many more to sell besides Phil's. What's up, Ed? Why the urgent call? Sit down, Phil. Listen, I got a theory. Theory? Ed, what about? About them bodies and the leeches. They ain't no leeches in that lake, Phil. Never were. No, it ain't leeches that's been draining the blood from their bodies. It's. Man looked down as the water climbed over the mast. The man was searching for something. You're mad, Ed. It's crazy. Is it? Aren't all those people swimming in the lake at night? Yes, but a vampire? Yes, a vampire in the lake. But Margie, my wife, she wasn't swimming in the lake. I'm not including your wife in this, Phil. Her death was different. Besides, we never found her. That sound Phil had heard the night Margie drowned, like someone beating an old carpet, like the beating of wings, large wings. Huh? Say something, Phil? Phil had darted out of Ed's office. Phil, where are you going? To get your lake vampire, Ed. Sped back to the cabin, ripped the three-pronged fork end from its long wooden shaft, and sharp, gotta get it good and sharp. The man was swimming now, kicking into the blackness. His lamp tumbled into the inky liquid before him. Suddenly, eyes glaring at me, came at him, slowly, white and turning. The light gleamed on its shiny fan. Just a little closer, just a little. Suddenly, it flashed at him, sharp little teeth lashing at his throat. Philip raised the needle-like wooden spear, kicking hard with his rubber clippers. Dodged the attack. And as it turned so that the light fell on its face, Philip lunged, ramming the stake through its vampire heart. Margie's lifeless body settled to the lake floor, the wooden spear sticking angularly from her chest, setting up for the boat. As Phil moved out of the lake into the cold night air. Yep, that's the story. Margie was attacked by a vampire. She sat watching Phil fish. When the boat turned over, she became the first underwater vampire in world history. Well, now I'll turn you back to your old dick. Oh, by the way, next time you go swimming at night, be careful. History repeats itself. Tip the Spite, Second Life Shadows. Montefiore number 16, import Jeeps in the sky. Duke Aldo Braggadocio and Duke Gino Severini were two powerful nobles in 16th century custody. The duchies were in neighboring provinces and they hated them. One boasted that he had more bravi, more men at arms to defend his land. The other bragged that his castle was impregnable to any attack. Duke Braggadocio was famous for his fertile vineyards and rare Chianti winemaking. Duke Severini charged Braggadocio with having diverted streams from his land to supply his rich vineyards with an elaborate irrigation system. Severine's grapes were quite inferior as was his soil, but he had something to make Braggadocio envious. Sanctuaries of beautifully plumed live birds from all parts of the world. Both dukes were young, impetuous, and madly in love with dark-eyed Gracioso Bevilacqua, a nobleman's daughter. Gracioso was equally impressed by the power and possessions of both suitors. When they proposed marriage to her separately, but simultaneously, she knew she must choose one by the process of elimination. One night, while sitting in Severini's third animated garden, her eyes glittered like starlight on a stiletto as she wheeled and fulfilled the Duke in the taking a step. The Duke was left him. He was to disguise himself, gain entry into Braggadocio's domain, and steal a bottle of rare Chianti from the latter's wine cellar. She would know the bottle. It would bear the personal seal and coat of arms of Castle Braggadocio. Then he paid an unexpected call upon Duke Braggadocio, whom she found strolling amongst his sunlit, fruit-laden trellis. The Duke was soon mesmerized, too, by the grape-stained lips at the stroke of the flesh from the crease of his left. Braggadocio was disguised himself, slipped unsuspected into Severine's impressive conception, and plucked a feather from his blue hair and petted in his daughter's garden. The exquisite bird was a favorite of his master. Braggadocio had the flowing blue feather in his hand when the deprived and indignant heron beat its wings and mauled along. The din created by the frightened bird attracted the captain of the guard and his soldiers. Duke Severini was absent at the time, being away on his quest. Without waiting for the Duke's council or his turn, they chopped off the violated Duke's limbs. Then they sent the shaft of Bradbury to his dead body back to his duchy with just the columns of the feathers and stripped of all its glowing azure bones. A few days later, the body of Duke Severini had come home to his duchy in a cask full of wine. Braggadocio's men had captured him and drowned him in a barrel of the rarest beyond. Yep. Here's another childish joke. Another infantile insanity. A grim, and I mean it, fairy tale. I call this delightful delving into the broken sweet from Honey Brown. Once upon a time, long, long ago, there was a kingdom, an unhappy kingdom. The reason that this kingdom was unhappy was because the people in this unhappy kingdom were unhappy. And the reason that the people in this unhappy kingdom were unhappy was because the people were starving. When people are crying, the baby is crying again and starving. The baby is hungry, feasible. We have no food. Now, high up on the mountain overlooking this unhappy kingdom was a majestic castle. And in the majestic castle was this majestic dining room. And in this majestic dining room sat a majestic king. And all day long, this majestic king would sit in the majestic dining room of the majestic castle high up on the mountain overlooking the unhappy kingdom, and eat, and chomp. Now it seems that in the majestic castle was a kitchen, and in the kitchen was a chef, the royal chef. Royal chef! Yes, your majesty. More food! Yes, your majesty. All day long, the majestic king ate in the majestic dining room of the majestic castle high up on the mountain overlooking the unhappy kingdom. The royal chef cooked food for him. Eat. That's all he does is eat, fat pig. Hurry, more food, royal chef. And every night, after the majestic king had stuffed himself until he could eat more. No, royal chef. Yes, your majesty. The royal chef would leave the castle and make his way down the mountain to his starving family. Fat pig. Other people starve as he stuffs himself so full he cannot move. When the royal chef would arrive at his ramshackle house, the starving family would meet him at the door. Daddy, we're hungry, Daddy. Did you bring anything tonight, dear? The man is still a drumstick with still full of meat on it here. Goody! While his starving family would nibble the last bite of meat put into his stolen drumstick, the royal chef would watch and simmer. Pig. Gluttonous pig. Then he sucked the juice. Now it's my turn tonight. But the other people of the unhappy kingdom were not as fortunate as the royal chef's family. They could not steal any food. The majestic king kept his livestock heads well guarded. Look, Captain, a peasant. He is stealing a calf. Those who try to steal food from the king were always severely punished. Visible, what happened to your hands? I was caught stealing a calf. So the people of the unhappy kingdom grew more and more unhappy. The baby is starved to death, Beelzebub. I tried, Miss Ordian. While the majestic king grew fatter and fatter. More food, royal chef. Yes, your majesty. And each night, when the royal chef would come home, Daddy, we're hungry, Daddy. Did you bring anything tonight, dear? He would watch his starving family nibble the scraps instead. It's my turn to suck the juice from the bone. No, it's my turn. Children, please, decide. It's my turn. Pig. Gluttonous pig. And then one night, no more royal chef. Yes, your majesty. The royal chef prepared to go home. Poked around the kitchen searching for a bone. Pick clean, not a scrap of food. Pig. Fat pig. Suddenly the royal chef spotted a meat-laden bone on the table before the king came. If I could take it in. This was the royal chef was looking at the meat-laden bone. The king woke up. What are you doing? Just cleaning up the table, your majesty. Not done. Through. Give me that bone. This one, your majesty? Yes. Get it to me. Here, your majesty. Chomp, chomp. Did you say so? Chomp, chomp. pig. What did you call me? A pig. You're a pig, an overstuffed fat pig. You know what a pig is good for? And so, for the last time, the royal chef made his way down the mountain to his starving family. Fat pig will stuff himself no more. This time he carried a large sack when he arrived home. Daddy, we're hungry, Daddy. Did you... A feast? Huh? What? A feast. Invite everybody. We're gonna have a feast. But Daddy, where did you get the food? The fat pig. The gluttonous overstuffed pig. Moses, what did you do to the king? The royal chef reached into his huge sack. What do you usually do with a huge fat pig? Look! Sausages! Hot dog! There's a tasty little grim fairy tale, eh, kiddies? As for the poor starving people of the unhappy kingdom, when they found out that their troubles were all wrapped up, they all lived happily ever after. Oh, by the way, if you're thinking of visiting that little kingdom, don't drive. Leave your car home. There's no place to put. And now the cookies are released. Bye. Yeah, it's your crypt keeper again, Beans. Welcome to once more the crypt return. From my spot in the Gold Witch's slime sheet, I'm going to tell you a yelp yarn adapted from a story by one of America's top men, Bradbury. Mr. Bradbury usually called this yarn the Coffin. Even the clever tale-teller myself call it the Coffin. Richard Grayling had listened with increasing difficulty and much curiosity for a number of days to the begging and rattling about his own family. Finally, he could stand it no longer. What are you doing, Charles? Go away and let me alone. Can't you see? I'm busy. Charles Grayling was a dying man, a badly dying man. He seemed to be in a great hurry, between racking coughs and spittlings, to piece together one last invention. Please, Charles, tell me. You must know I'll be dead in another week, and I'm building a coffin. Coffin, my dear Charlie? That doesn't look like a coffin. Coffin isn't that complex. No, what are you up to? I tell you, it's a coffin. An odd coffin, yes, but nevertheless a coffin. But it would be easier to buy one. Not one like this. You couldn't buy one like this any place ever. Or it would be a real fine coffin, all right. Charles fitted in an odd thingamabob on the box before Richard moved forward. You're obviously lying. Now that coffin is a good 12 feet long, 6 feet longer than the normal size. Yep. And that transparent top. Who never heard of a coffin that you can see through? If it is a transparent lid for a corpse. Oh, just never mind at all. Sit-hum, sit-hum, The old man went humming and hammering about in his coffin. Richard had to shout at what he did. This coffin is terribly thick. Why must be 5 feet thick? It's how utterly unnecessary. I only wish I might live to patent this amazing coffin. It'd be a godsend to all the poor peoples of the world. Think of how it would eliminate the expenses of funerals. But, of course, you don't know how it would do that, do you? How silly of me. Well, I shan't tell you. This coffin could be mass used. Gad, what money people would save. Oh, go to places. Richard turned out of his elder brother's shop. Poor Richard, yes, it had been an unpleasant life. Young Richard had always been such a bounder. He'd never had 2 coins linked together at one time. All of his money had come from older brother Charlie, who had the indecency to remind him of him all the time. Selfish old tightwad. Well, that's what I've been waiting for, Charles. You to die. Go ahead, go fool. Hand me your life. Richard spent many hours in his house. He nearly let filling empty bottles with French wine labels in the dark. As Richard often said while sitting and sitting. I like the way they do. One morning, the old brother toddled upstairs and stole the insides out of the electric furniture. Another morning, he raided the garden or street. So another time, Charles received a delivery from a medical man. 9 here, please. Yes. Thank you. Richard was never allowed to buy anything for himself. It was always bought for him, given to him. He had to ask for everything, even writing papers. Richard considered himself quite a martyr to have to put up with taking things from that rich old brother for so long. So now, while hammering and murmuring excursions along, Richard just sat and waited. Finally, on the 14th morning, old Charlie announced, "I'm finished," and dropped dead. Richard, without showing his inner excitement, arose, went to the window, watched the sunlight playfully slithering fat beating like champagne bottles, then picked up the phone and perfunctorily dialed him in. Hello, Greenlawn Mortuary. They looked at the stairs where the veritable boiler Charlie lay peacefully sprawled in Spanish. This is the Brawling residence. Will you send around a wicker, please? Yes, Brother Charlie. Yes, thank you. Later, as the mortuary people were taking Brother Charlie out in their wicker, they received instructions. No ordinary casket, no funeral service, put him in a flying coffin. He would have preferred it that way. Simple. Goodbye. After they left, Richard rubbed his hands together. Now we shall see about this coffin built by dear Charlie. They are not supposed to realize he's not being buried in a special box. Ha! Richard darted into the shop. The coffin sat before the wide-flung French windows, the lid shut, complete and neat, all put together like a fine image of a Swiss watch. It was vast, and resting upon a long table was always beneath it new. The coffin interior, as Richard peered through the transparent wood, was 6 feet long. Must be a good 3 feet of false body at both head and foot of the coffin. 3 feet at each end, encumbered by secret panels which, when I find a way of opening, will reveal, of course, money. It'd be just like when Charlie, the suckers, reaches into the grave with himself, leaving me with not a cent to buy a bottle. The old bastard. Richard raised the transparent lid and felt about, but found no hidden button. There was a small sign, previously inked in white paper, then tacked to the side of the satin long box. What's this? Railing Economy Casket? Copyright April 1952. Simple doll. Richard snorted tight assembly. Who did Charlie think he was fooling? There was no writing. He read on. Directions: simply place body in coffin. What a fool thing to say. Put body in coffin. Naturally, how else would one go about it? Richard peered intently, finishing out the directions. Simply place body in coffin and music to start. What? It can't be. Don't tell me all is working but none forever. We'll find out. There will be no harm in lying in the box testing it. Richard noticed small ventilating holes in the side. Even if the lid were closed down, there'd be air. Richard hoisted himself up. Simply place body in coffin and music will start. Really? How naive, old Charlie. He was like a man getting into a bathtub. Got naked and watched it. Put one shiny shoe into the coffin, crooked his knees, and eased himself in. He crouched there as if undecided about the temperature of the bathroom. Hey. Chuckling softly, Richard sat lay down, pretending to himself that he was dead, that people were dropping tears on him, that candles were moving and illuminating, and that the world was stopped in mid-stride because of his passing. He put on a long, pale expression and shut his eyes. Holding back laughter in himself, he pressed quivering lips. Spung! The lid sang down on him. From outside, if one had just come into the room, one would imagine a wild man was kicking, pounding, blabbering, and shrieking inside a coffin. No! Then silence. Richard relaxed. The lid was locked. There was nothing to do but wait for someone to come and let him out. Music began to play. It seemed to come from somewhere within the coffin. It was green music, organ music, very slow and melancholy, typical of Gothic horrors and long black tapers. It smelled of earth and whiskey. It echoed between stone walls. It was so sad that one almost cried listening to it. It was music of potted plants and something of blue-stained glass and windows. It was late sun at twilight on a cold wind blowing. It was dawn with only fog and a faraway foghorn moaning. Charlie moved through. Here's the laughter welled up in Richard's eyes. You old fool, you. So this is your odd coffin. Nothing more than a coffin which plays with its own dirt. Oh my sainted grandmother. Richard's eyes roved aimlessly about. His fingers tapped softly with little woodlands on the satin cushion. Through the transparent lid he saw sunlight shooting through the open, fresh French windows, just sparkling dancing light. It was a lovely day, organ music quiet. Sermon began. We are gathered here together, those who loved and those who knew the deceased, to give him our homage and our due. Charlie, bless you, that's your voice. A mechanical funeral by heavens, organ music and lecture, Charlie giving his own worries for himself. Soft voice continued. We knew and loved him and grieved at the passing of Richard Gray. Richard? Well, I'm Richard. Slip of the tongue naturally. Merely a slip. Charlie had meant to say Charles Gray. Certainly, yes, of course, yes, certainly, yes, naturally, yes. Richard was a fine man. We shall see no finer in our time. My name again. It was hardly a mistake, using that name twice. Richard Grayling, Burr, Spong, Flowers, 6 dozen bright blue, red, yellow, sun-brilliant flowers leaped up from behind the coffin on concealed spring. Help! In life, Richard Grayling was a connoisseur of great and good things. He savored life as one savors of a rare wine, holding it upon the lips. A small panel inside the box flipped open. Bright metal arms snatched out. A needle stabbed Richard in the thorax, shooting him full of colored liquid before he could see. The growing numbness, suddenly Richard Gould could not move his fingers or his arms or turn his head. His legs were cold and limp. Another panel opened. Metal forceps issued forth on steel arms. His left wrist was pierced by a huge sucking needle. This time he did not scream. His tongue was motionless in his anesthetized mouth. A pump started to work while his blood drained out one side of his body. His right wrist was punctured, held, a needle shoved into it, and the second pump began to force formaldehyde into it. A small motor popped and chugged. The room drifted by on either side of it. Little wheels revolved. No pallbearers were necessary. The flowers swayed as the casket broke through the French windows into the darkness. Now it is time when we must consign this part of this man to the earth. Little shining spades leaped out of the sides of the casket. They began to dig. Richard saw the spades toss up dirt. Coffin settled, bumped, settled, dug, bumped, and settled, dug, bumped, and settled. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Coffin was deep. The music played. The last thing Richard Grayling saw was the spade arms of the Grayling autonomy casket reaching up and pouring the whole in out. Richard Grayling, Richard Grayling, Richard Grayling. The record was stuck. Nobody minded. Nobody was listening. And that's the story, kittens. Ray Bradbury's story like this, Bradbury. Let me know. There's